So I was thinking after watching yesterday's game that this wasn't exactly how they planned things were going to go in Denver with Russell Wilson. I don't know why I got that feeling, but I was just watching that game going, yeah, this wasn't exactly how everyone thought this was going to go this year.
Which one was worse?
They are so bad.
Which one was worse? Carl Lewis trying to sing the national anthem or the Denver Broncos this year?
It's one and the same. They're close.
Give me another chance.
Hey, they're close.
I'm gonna make it up.
Are they close to being the worst team in the NFL?
I would say
that's
that's definitely the case.
Yeah.
And by the way, here's what I don't understand. I got Denver dead wrong.
Yeah,
dead wrong. And I don't get as much flack for that as compared to the Jets. But it's kind of I don't know oddity, I guess, in that regard. But I would say their defense is still one of the best in the NFL. So I'm not necessarily saying that they're one of the worst teams for that reason. Like some of the bad teams out there, like the Texans, they're the worst team in the NFL, and there's really not much hope. When you kind of watch some of those games, they just seem clearly outmatched, out-schemed. And that's a whole other conversation, but it's the offense. And I don't care what is said post-game. Mike Purcell seemed ticked off, man. It seems like that defense is at a breaking point right now in Denver.
I mean, why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't you be? You have been sold a bill of goods that came in almost like they sold you sour milk. Like you thought it was a good batch of milk, it wasn't a good batch of milk. And now you gotta figure out what are you going to do with it. And now you're to a point now where this unit has given you all the opportunities to be competitive in games, win games, be a team that can go in the right direction. Now you've had players that didn't want to be there that have gone. You've lost one of your premier defenders in Chubb. Like to me, I think the way this is all panned out is almost like the total antithesis of what's going on in New York. Now, what might have made more sense? Now, I don't know that you can get it done with the backups in Denver, but you're not getting it done with the starter either. And you can look at the quarterback position and the quarterback play, the offensive play, as the reason why this team is not doing well. And so who's the backup? The Rippon, right? Isn't Rippon the backup?
Brett Rippon.
I don't know. I don't know that you make your team better by putting him in. It's almost like a Heineke situation. Well, maybe way worse because of the amount of money that they've paid Russ. But you're sacrificing the entire team to appease one player that is tremendously grossly underperforming. And that's what you saw kind of spill over when you had the player on the defense come off the field, like calling him a punk, whatever, you know what I mean? Huh. And yeah. And just feeling overwhelmed with emotion to actually talk to, like for a defender to go at an offensive player like that, they have literally hit their wits' end. They've hit their wits' end.
So Russell Wilson, after the game, did talk about the incident with Mike Purcell and also just the bad look for the organization following another disappointing loss at Carolina yesterday.
He was pissed off. He just said, we have to go, and I agree, So me and him on the same page. There's no animosity there at all. We're on the same page. We got to win. We got to come out here and have some grit to us, some mentality to us. We got to be able to win these football games, and so those guys are out there battling every play. On offense, we got to be able to capitalize. So yeah, no, there's nothing there at all.
No,
it's unacceptable. Bottom line. This organization, this tradition here, this everything else. We got to honor it. We got to honor it by winning.
I have to. I need to.
They're on the same page.
I am on the same page with them.
I think we're all on the same page. The offense stinks. The interesting thing about this is, so they're 3-8 now, I believe, and Denver's had 3-8 spells. They had it, I believe, with Vance Joseph. I believe they had it one of his first 2 years, and Vic Fangio had this similar record. The difference is the expectations for Denver. And LaVar, you kind of touched on it. Like the expectations were they were a quarterback away. I mean, Vic Fangio admitted as much. And now they have that quarterback, and it has been an absolute disaster. To me, I also think it has everything to do with not even so much the hiring of Nathaniel Hackett, who seemed like he was underprepared for this moment and just how things have worked out, but more so the fact they're trying to make Russell Wilson, and I don't know if it's his own volition to do this or not, but they're trying to make him something that he's not. Like, you're watching the game going, man, like, get him outside. Get him on the move. Get the deep play action, the boots, the move, the pocket. That's what Seattle was able to excel with them. And it's not like you're just going to sit him in the pocket and let him pick you apart. If Russell thinks he's that quarterback, then I don't know what to tell him, because it's hard. He hasn't really been that guy. Not consistently, not when they've won Super Bowls and had success. And they're almost trying to make like him into something that, and look, maybe it's a work in progress. Maybe it'll eventually come around the end of this year, next year. But that wasn't what led to their success and their Super Bowl runs and the beginning of his career.
Q.
Yeah.
Don't you believe that Russell Wilson came in there and said, these are the plays that I'm comfortable with. These are the plays we need to run. This is how we need to be looking at approaching the game plans. Wouldn't you believe that Russell Wilson was probably, and I mean, I would assume that's why he has his own office, he was vitally important in the implementation of what he felt, what style of offense would work for him and would work for that team. Wouldn't you think?
I do. I think it had a little bit to do with, too, him going to a destination now where he got to pick and choose what he wants to do. And I think sometimes, when we're in that position, we're blind to our own weaknesses and where we struggle. Yeah. But this is one in which I think he's trying to be something that's going to help prolong his career by playing more from the pocket. But it hasn't been where they've had the most success. And, I think he's got to realize, too, if he wants to win MVP, if he wants to win another Super Bowl, they're going to have to play to the strengths of the team that they have around him, but even what he doesn't believe that he needs to do. Like, he needs to take off and run more. He needs to be more a part of that. Like, do you remember the dazzling plays he used to make scrambling around in the pocket and all that? It's like that never happens anymore.
You know what I think it is? To do anything that he left behind it almost represents minimizing him or diminishing what he believes is the brilliance of what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that there's a resistance to, like, okay, to think that, allow a coach to be the coach. Allow Hackett and those guys to put together what the game plan should look like, whether it minimizes you or not. Like, let them do it. And I almost feel like this is what we were watching take place with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. This was a constant battle, a constant struggle. Russ became so beloved and so respected that his voice carried the type of weight that we saw take place in Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers wasn't happy with things and then finally had something to say about it. But nobody had enough of credibility or goodwill built up in the community for it to stand up to Aaron Rodgers. But Pete Carroll did. Pete Carroll had enough built-up goodwill and enough of a resume to stand up to what Russell Wilson had to say, and ultimately that was the reason why Russ and Pete Carroll had to go their separate ways. But now I think we're really seeing, and you're really starting to understand, like, nah, Russ, don't sit there and say we need to. Say I need to. It's no different than what Zach Wilson's situation is. No, Zach, don't say we. Say I. Say, I need to be better. Say, I need to figure this out so that I can handle my piece of the puzzle, handle my part of the lawn, do what I need to do that's going to make sure that we can get this thing turned around. Don't say we, because you are the epitome. You are the epicenter of what the issue is right now. You may not even be able to see that and realize that, but you are indeed the reason why this team is going in the opposite direction. And for what it's worth, that may seem harsh. Oh, you can't put it on one person. Yes, you can. Sure you can. You can put it on the quarterback. You can put it on the head coach, especially when it's accurate. because it's accurate. It's poor play from the quarterback is the reason why this offense is suffering. You can't put it on the amount of talent that they have. They have receivers. They have an O-line. They had a running game. Like, they had pieces in place. It's like, what happened to Melvin Gordon? I don't know. He fumbles. Okay, put it on that. You had a team that was assembled to be able to win. Everybody looked at it that way.
They were a quarterback away.
Okay.
That was the discussion.
Say me. Say
yeah.
I.
Yeah, they were a quarterback
Say
away.
me, I. Like, that dude wasn't coming off the field talking to everybody on the offense. He was talking to your ass.
By the way, I think
we wasn't saying y'all get it together. He was saying you get it together.